World greetings to you. It's Friday, last day of the week, and yesterday on Thursday we had an amazing live stream with an amazing discussion. There was a lot of stuff going on in the chat, so thanks again to everyone who participated. And we even had two English-speaking viewers, and they said they are watching us with in real-life translation, real-time translation. I hope that worked out. And right after the stream, an hour later or whatever, I got an email, also in English, and so from a company in Switzerland. And so this is why today I decided to do that in English. It's also a good exercise for me again. And I know that we have some international viewers sometimes. And they already asked if we can do that sometimes in English, or what about English subtitles. And it's of course some kind of work, a lot of work to do after the video that we always upload on YouTube, so you can review, or we can also review them later. But okay, this is now because why we are doing it in English for today. And what's the point? Yesterday, one of the guys also participating a lot in the chat here, and we even had a phone conversation. Here's the number below. He said, almost on the side, he said that, but because we talked about how it can we perhaps create a more native gamification approach for newspapers. And so how can we create a journey for the user as the customer of a newspaper? And so he said that, finally, suddenly he said, okay, that means that we have to change how the newspaper is delivering its service. So we have to change the product itself if we want to gamify it. And it's not just about it's going on like it already went, and now we are putting just a gamified layer with feedback system, whatever, on top of it. And that was some kind of aha moment for me, because he's right. And this is something that I thought I'm communicating all the time for years, but it seems to be that often I'm not communicating it very good. Okay, so because at the end, a lot of people always think, okay, now we have this product, it's already built, it's done, it's already decided how to deliver the service, the product to the customer, and what he can do with that. And this is built in stone. And now after that, here we have gamification, and it has to say yes to how the product is being built, and it can't change anything. And sorry, I'm just connecting my phone in case someone wants to call in again. So the point, and this was some kind of aha moment, okay? And I realized that often customers, or potential customers, companies, again, like the one yesterday, are calling us or writing to us, and we realize that they have the same mindset. They think, okay, we have already built it, it's done. We don't need to touch that again, the service, the product, and now we want to gamify it in addition. And that's a totally different kind of mindset. I'm not saying it's not working. I'm not saying that could be an approach, but we are not doing it this way. And so, of course, if you have an agency and you're serving customers, you have some kind of expectation management to do. Because you want to know, or you want to make sure that the customer himself knows what to expect working with you. And of course, as an agency, as a provider for services, of course, in the best case, it's a customer you already know you can even exceed expectations. And so realizing that, the conversation yesterday, and then thinking back about our history, what we are doing with customers, and getting the email from another customer or from someone from an automotive company or service company who watched the stream yesterday, and he said that we never thought about it this way. We always thought about that we have our predefined customer journey, and now without touching it, we can gamify it. So because it's a digital layer that you put on top of something. So it's while the customer is going through the customer journey that we already predefined, we just decide what kind of feedback, reward he's getting on its particular milestones. But we never thought about that perhaps the problem of a boring, or let's say not really engaging customer journey, it was already built natively into the customer journey. Because we thought that what we did is right by focusing on how can we make it as easy and, how to say that in English, effortless as possible. Because it sounds so rational from a business point of view, from an efficiency point of view. And it's true. From an efficiency point of view, and how we are normally educated to think about business, how can we provide a service as easy as possible to someone? And this is still true. I don't say it should be other, but I mean that what no one is thinking about is that once you're inside my business, my journey, how can I create this kind of journey in a more engaging, aka challenging, and bonding, do you say that is way? So, because if I create a service that's, let's say, built really flawless and efficient, it means perhaps the customer only has to click one button and it's done. From a service point of view, that sounds amazing. But of course, from an emotional experience point of view, it's just convenience for the customer. One touch and I can forget it. And that's totally fine if you want to be that kind of convenience product. And there are a lot of reasons why you should be one or try to be one. But if you want to create a brand, a situation where you say, no, I want someone really to be focused on our relationship. I want him to thrive for more, like playing a game. You don't want to create a game where you say, where you think about, okay, how can I create an experience so that the customer don't have to think about it or only use it for one click and then goes away. The thing is, if you want to create an emotional connection to the customer so that you say, hey, he's really motivated to stay with us. He has an amazing relationship. So even if we, let's say, if we do something very wrong one day, we have this connection that he will stay with us. That's loyalty, actually. Okay? And so if you want to think this way, then we have to accept that human beings love things more where they have to put time and effort in it. And where they realize that, oh, they are getting better by interacting with it. And so that's the thinking, the mindset. And this is what I realized is that almost all of the customers calling us, they never thought this way. And if I want to create a good business relationship with them, we have, because that's our mindset, because that's also our philosophy in gamification, we have to make sure that they have the same thinking. And so what I thought about yesterday is that actually either when someone, a potential customer, just heard about us, went on our website, heard about us in social media, whatever, then that could be a touch point, or after a customer has already signed in with us. So if that's the case, in that moment, short before or during that, it depends a little bit, that would be a perfect moment to create that kind of expectation management, okay, to build up on that. So that means to offer some kind of content and services, not long, just not going deep, just going deep enough to make sure that we are on the same page. And this is something I really have to say, I don't want to have customers anymore that think that, okay, it's about, we want to reward people. So we want to motivate them just by telling them, hey, we want your money, it's there. So if they are only focusing on the transaction itself and then say, okay, we have to give you a discount or points in order to get the transaction, then we will do that. I don't want to have this kind of customers. It's not fun working on these kind of projects. And I think everyone who knows me knows that. I think that's not gamification, that's a reward program. And again, you can build amazing reward programs, and sometimes you shouldn't do gamification. You really should focus on reward programs because they are much more effective. So we have to work on that expectation management from the beginning. And of course, I want to have, in the best case, I want to have customers who say, hey, we already went through this thinking, and we decided objectively or consciously, we decided to go this way with you. We are on the same page. And of course, I also want to have customers say, no, we listen to you. We really don't think we want to go this way. We really don't think gamification should be like this. Whatever, and then we don't go this way with you. And so everyone is happy because from the beginning, we have the right expectations set up. Okay, so, and because of that, I thought about, and that's just a short one today, what we should do is create content, a short series of videos, a short, just very short. So I'm talking about, in total, I hope that it's only about 20 minutes, for example, maximum. Perhaps we can get it to 10. Something that a customer, potential customer, someone interested in gamification could take, answer some kind of questions, and come to this decision to say, yes, I'm deciding to go on the path with gamification with Roman and his agency, or no, I'm going another way. Hey, licenciado 28. How's it going, mate? Thanks, I'm pretty fine. I hope you're well too. And so we're just talking about how to set the right expectation management for your customers in gamification. And so now let me take you with me to the slides, because I think what should be the first thing that by offering something to this potential customer, so a mini series of videos, as I said, or some other written content or a workbook or whatever, I think the first thing, even before we're talking about it, is gamification. We really should take care about what kind of problem does gamification solve, or solve better than blah, blah, blah. Because of course I can use, for example, gamification to trigger one particular behavior at this very moment. I think you should do it with gamification. I think you should do it with nudging, with a reward program. Why? Because I think they are more efficient in doing that and more effective. So it's cheaper using nudging and a reward system, for example, to trigger one particular behavior in this very moment. But everyone following me knows that if you're not just interested in this one behavior, but in this ongoing journey, so a lot of different behaviors building up on each other, then gamification, I'm thinking, is much more effective in solving that kind of issue. Again, you can use reward programs for that, but I think they are really, really bad at that, even if they are being used right now most often for exactly that kind of problem. So what the content should solve in the first place, from my point of view, I think we have to define, we have to tell, okay, what problem does gamification really solve? Make it easy for someone interested in the topic to find out, oh, do I have that kind of problem? Or, oh, I thought it's something else. I have another problem and I thought gamification could be the solution for that. Okay? So if we have that, then the next one could be, and I think when we have clarified that, the next thing would be, okay, what actually is gamification? So from a more, let's say, generalistic approach, but also how could it look like? What does a product look like when we're using gamification? because there we have the explicit approaches where we are talking about a serious game, a marketing game, game-based learning, a simulation. And we have the implicit approach where we are interweaving game psychology into real life, real time work. So it's getting more native, but you're not realizing that it's gamified. You're not, nothing that looks like a game. Okay. These are two extremes. It's like a real game. I'm sitting down VR or on a desktop or on my mobile, and I'm playing a game, a serious game. And while I'm playing the game, I'm solving actually something else, a real problem. Okay. That's one extreme. And there are amazing examples out there. And then we have gamification that's much more subtle, interwoven into real life, implicit. That's the other extreme. And then, of course, you have this space in between, like a gray zone, and you can combine both and whatever, okay? But what is gamification? How could it look like, okay? And perhaps even say, okay, we don't want to make it too complex, too complicated, but even say, okay, what's the advantage and the disadvantage of each particular approach? So that if you decide, okay, gamification from this point of view could make sense, which one do I want to choose? So you can already think about it. So when that means if you decide to get into business with us, you're much more educated already. We are already talking from on eye level. Okay. So that could be the second part of content that we are trying to solve. Then the third one probably could be in circumstances. Does gamification make sense? The point here is that even if we are on the same page with the first question and the second question, but now it could mean that you say, yeah, but we are talking about, we have gamification only for this 1 day event, for example. And there are no possibilities for people to take decisions like in a game. You have to, so it's like if you would say, okay, we only have one level, one time approach. It's only short term. It's only for 2 hours for 1 day. It's not for 2 weeks. So you already see the difference between in 2 weeks, I can really create a better journey that you can progress as if I would only have 8 hours. I can still do it, but it's much more difficult because I have less time available, and experiencing something as a journey takes time for the user. I have also, per definition, can have a journey in 1 hour. But for the user himself, it's not really being experienced as a journey, okay? And then if you say, no, it's like there are no different paths that you can go, different ways where you can decide on different kind of things. It's only we have this one track, you have to sit there and follow it through. And then again, the overall, it will be very difficult to create an overall experience where someone has the feeling of, oh yeah, I did it my way. It's more like a to-do list that you have to sit through, okay? And then you can already say, oh, I think the first 2 questions we answered, but now the circumstances, the conditions are very difficult. So we could, perhaps gamification is not the right way, but we can create an amazing feedback or reward system. So then the fourth one would be, for example, that with all the informations and we providing you with the right questions with something like a short workbook that you can go left if yes, right if no, or whatever, I don't know yet. We have this, we have the situation where you can make the decision for or against gamification, how we see it, okay, for our gamification. And of course, that's amazing because then perhaps we saved you time, perhaps we saved you budget, because you can really see, oh no, almost I would have run into the totally wrong direction. Now I know what to focus more on, what to look for. So now you can go on Google if you want to, and say and stop watching for gamification or looking up gamification or looking for an agency. You can now say, oh no, I need first we have a white label reward program, or these employee point programs with benefits. There are a lot of services, for example, or oh no, we just need an application where we can add a leaderboard to our application so that people can compare. Probably fine, but then you know exactly what to look for. So we already helped you with a little bit with strategy. Okay, so the first thing, taking the right decisions. What's the problem? And are we really looking for the right solution by looking for gamification? And of course, if you have done the decision, if you made it, and you say no, then what are the alternatives? The same way like I just told it to you right now. What are the alternatives? Like reward programs, nudging, incentive programs, whatever. It depends, of course. Yeah. If yes, then of course, okay, what's next? How to go forward from this very point? And I think right now we should create some kind of, and if we really try to make it tight, probably we can deliver that. We can make it a 10 to 20 minute experience for someone interested in that. And so then after that, he really knows, okay, for this particular approach, gamification is not the solution I thought it could be. But I got an alternative. Or, oh yes, it's I thought it's something different, but this makes sense for me, so I want to go this way. So what's next, guys? Helps me. How can we go and onboard and start gamification? And I think if we are able to pull that off, it's of course better for us. We have more educated customers already coming into our funnel. We are already saving them time, perhaps, and budget. We already started some kind of very small strategic consultancy for that. Yeah, we help them to take it on a very superficial level, but on a very important one, the right decision. And then we can go on from there. And we are not starting really from the beginning. And then if someone, and for example, also, we already have all these other educational content, whatever. If someone really decides, oh, I want to go, yes, I want to go with them, then of course that could be an amazing way or an amazing moment to pull them into, for example, the online course that we have in German right now, or other stuff that we can then prepare exactly for this very moment. So this is what I'm really, really interested about right now. And what really came up to me when we had this session yesterday, when I had this aha moment talking with Razors and his comment, and then getting the email afterwards from this company from Switzerland. And so this is something that I'm learning, experiencing right now. It's not about the topic of gamification itself or how to deliver that. It's more about agency business. Yeah, how to build up an agency, how to help to get to the right clients, to develop your clients, to set the right expectation management. So if you think about it as a funnel, it's right at the beginning, short before the onboarding, or actually at the onboarding. This could be an approach. It makes everything better. It should make everything better. Yeah, it should create more qualitative leads, for example. It should shortening the onboarding process for the clients, saving time and money and effort and frustration, of course. It can help companies already to educate what is gamification, the mindset within their communities, yeah, with others. And so this is just something that ran around my mind the last few hours, and I wanted to share. Actually, also that it's archived, Yeah, now we will upload that to YouTube like all the other videos, and then I can always look it up. And of course, it would be interesting to think to get to know what you think about that. Is that something that would help you from the beginning when you have heard the first time about gamification? Is it something that, I don't know how experienced you are, if you're working in a company and you get a service provider working with you, is that something that you have already experienced, something similar like that? Is that something that you would have liked to experience? That kind of stuff. Perfect. So it's a short one today. Licenciado 28, thanks for taking part, participating, or listening. And to everyone else, I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry for my, and of course, I know I have not the slightest English accent in my English. I hope that was okay. So have a nice Friday, have a great weekend, and we see each other next week. Ciao.